What's up, guys? Eli here, back for a, it's going to be kind of a combination video, kind of a new stuff video, kind of a demo review video, and kind of just things like movies I've been watching lately video. So, kind of a special, kind of a new, this isn't going to be my permanent setup or anything. As you can see, the Panzerfaust flag that Kevin sent me, that's all you're going to see in this video. It's so big. I might mix things up a little bit next time to where you can see more of it. And we have Louie. Louie is more in this video than he usually is. He's actually... Louie, come here. Let's say hi. Come here. I know you guys don't get to see him all the time. So... say hi. Anyways. Alright. We'll get on to it. So, the main point of doing this video is I had been wanting to do a review of this demo for a while now. I've been listening to it a lot lately. You guys know that I have this tape because I have shown it. This is the Evulse Pustulent Spawn demo from 2020, September of 2020. Came out on Transylvanian Tapes. So I've showed this in the video, with the package that I got from Transylvanian Tapes, but I hadn't listened to any of them at that point. So a lot, obviously a lot's changed. I've listened to all of them since then. They're all good. This is probably my favorite of the stack. It's hard to say because there are a few others that I liked a lot too. Kind of rivaling this one, but I still stand by that. Show the tape a little better too. It's kind of like a cool pinkish red. Honestly, I don't know if this is intentional, although it probably is. The color of this reminds me of like if you were to mix blood and pus. That was my first thought. On camera, I think it looks more pink, or maybe more red. It's really more of a pinkish red in person, but anyways. So like I said, released on Transylvanian Tapes, September of 2020. This is death metal out of Oakland, California. There's some members in this band that, like, either former or current, I can't remember, members of like Acephalix, Mortuous, who had their first full-length released a couple years ago to very, very positive reviews. So there are dudes in this band that have been kicking around for some time. It's not just like a bunch of kids or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but yeah. Sorry, I just woke up. I gotta have my fucking caffeine. I can't do this without. But anyway, so what you're getting here is, I don't want to say a bunch of redundant terms that are not going to make you want to check this out, or are just going to go, I don't want this to sound like just another death metal demo. Okay, so first of all, the sound. I really dig the production on here. For what it is, I think the production is completely perfect. This is the exact production I'd want on a death metal demo. It's raw, obviously, but there's also a lot of clarity. You can understand, you can hear every instrument. You can hear the bass guitar, you can hear every bass drum hit. You can hear all that, and it's all completely audible. So production-wise, perfect. The more I listen to this, the more I realize that. And it's a demo, so it's short. I think it's 15 or 20 minutes, something like that. So sound-wise, old school death metal, obviously. There's no getting away from that. I know there are, hundreds, maybe even thousands of bands that are just worshiping at the altar of incantation right now. And this band, I'm sure, looks up to incantation. And the influence is maybe there a little bit, but it's not... They're not like a carbon copy, like so many bands. But instead of saying there's a strong incantation influence, I want to say that there's a strong 90s East Coast death metal influence, just in general. This band could have easily came up, in the early 90s in Pennsylvania or New York or even New Jersey or something like that. And in addition to that, I want to say that there's maybe even some early 90s like Finnish influence here. I kind of hear a little bit of like a less technical a little bit of less technical demolish, maybe. Maybe a little bit of demigod and stuff like that. So, if you're gonna mash together, early '90s East Coast U.S. death metal with early '90s Finnish death metal, I think Evulse could have easily, this demo could have easily came out in that, during that time. So, been listening to it a lot lately. I really like it. I think when these guys put out a full-length album, it's going to be a contender. It's going to be, it's going to be a contender for being, one of the better death metal albums of the year, whatever year that comes out. I don't have any info on that. I want to say there is one being put together, but I don't have any info on that right now. So, but anyways, definitely look into this. This is their second demo. They're a young band. The band has only been, I think since 2018, something like that. They had a demo before this that I haven't heard. By the way, right now we're listening to, and for the first time for me, and I'm really fucking digging it. By the way, it's almost distracting me from talking. I showed this, I think, in my last video. Brian Arkham sent me some CDs, and I'm only just getting to listening to them. I chose, I had to choose one, obviously, and this is where I decided to start. Intolerance, Laments from the Dripstone Cave. This came out last year on Life After Death. Record label I'm not familiar with, but yeah, this is fucking killer. I mean, as you can tell. Sorry. Yeah. So, thanks again, Brian. I'm glad I'm finally. I'm pretty slow when it comes to this kind of thing. So, all right. So, other than the Evulse review, I still don't know exactly how I'm going to do. I do want to do more reviews. I don't know how I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to format them. I feel like I need a better format, something that is kind of uniform. I don't know if I'm going to give a star rating or a percentage, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 100. I don't know yet. All I can say is I'm probably only going to review things that I really like. And maybe not necessarily, I guess. Some of the first reviews I did were from that label out of Poland, and I did not like all of them, and I think I was pretty honest. But I didn't give any number. I don't know. I hate it because, like, when you see people doing reviews online, there's so many, like, 7s out of 10, 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10. I don't know if I like the number system, so I'll think about it more, but yeah. Absolutely love this tape, and really want a full length from this band. So don't underestimate that. So new stuff. The reason I'm doing all these things in kind of one video is I didn't have a chance to get very many new things in the last couple of weeks, and it might be like that for the next couple of months or more. The new stuff that I get coming in might be a little less than it has been in the past. So I might need to kind of, they're either just going to be shorter videos, or I can tack something else on to them. That's kind of what I did in my early, like when I first started this channel. I actually had gone back to school, so I didn't have any money. So I was getting like, maybe 2 or 3 tapes or CDs a month. So I was like, I would do like a new stuff video with a collection video or with something else, and just kind of, it doesn't matter, right? You guys don't give a fuck. But anyways, so I've gotten just a couple new things. And I already watched this, which is crazy because usually it takes me forever to get around to watching things. I just found this randomly in a local store. Thought it looked cool. Thought it sounded cool. I read up on it a little bit. We got Murder Party. It says on the top, or it says here somewhere. Yeah, on the back. Napoleon Dynamite meets the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's sort of, that's fairly accurate. It was a pretty fun movie. I mean, definitely a low budget horror movie, which is there. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. That's that's what we love about horror for the most part. Yeah, pretty good. It's about this dude who he just finds this random invite to something called a murder party. He doesn't really have any friends or anything going on that night. It's Halloween night, by the way, and he He likes Halloween. He's a big fan. Decides to go to this party, not knowing who's going to be there or even what the fuck it is. And so it's basically just this group of pretty regular people who want to murder somebody. And so they don't care who shows up. They're going to kill them. And he ends up having to fight his way out of that. And that's all I'll say, because I don't want to throw out any spoilers. This came out on 2007 via Magnet, Magnet Pictures, which we all know. Magnet does some cool stuff. And also the Lab of Madness. I don't know what the Lab of Madness is, so I might have to look into that, since they're at the top. The Lab of Madness. So anyway, definitely worth a watch. Had I seen this before, I don't know if I would have bought it, but I only paid like $5 for it. So I definitely don't feel like I wasted $5. I watched the entire movie without pausing it. I did not reach for my phone. I wasn't just I wasn't bored. I definitely was engaged. I felt like maybe some parts definitely could have been better, but overall, fairly enjoyable movie. I don't think I've ever seen or heard anyone talk about it, so I don't know if any of you guys have seen this. If you have, yeah, let me know what you think. So on that same night, I also picked this up. I decided that it's been about time that I pick up more Brian Yuzna movies. Josh Armijo has been talking about Brian Yuzna lately on Instagram, coincidentally. Brian Yuzna is a director. He's done some really cool stuff like From Beyond and Society. He's done some heavy hitter classic horror movies. A lot of the time, people get him confused with Stuart Gordon, and I still do all the time, because they've done movies that are so similar. Like Brian Yuzna did From Beyond, Stuart Gordon did Reanimator. Those movies are they're very similar in ways. I don't think I was really super aware of who Brian Yuzna was until a couple years ago, when I was talking about his movies with Eric Bauer, and Eric Bauer was telling me about all these movies he's done, and you need to check them out. So other than From Beyond, I don't think I've seen a couple other things he's done, but I don't think I owned anything. So I'm just gonna start picking up Brian Yuzna movies, see if I can find some at. I have a pretty decent local video store that's got a decent horror selection, actually. So I picked out this. I haven't watched it yet, but we got The Dentist. I think it has sequels. When did this come out? This came out in... sorry, I wasn't really worried about talking about dates or anything. Hey, I'm not even really getting a date on the back of this one. But, yeah. That's just the first one that I found, and so I grabbed it. I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna try to get all this stuff. I definitely need to get Society. That one's high up on my list. So anyone seen The Dentist? Brian Yuzna. All right. I also got. Really happy to find this, actually, because I dig this band a lot. I have I think their first album. So this is the EP that follows that album. This is Goat Snake with Trampled Underhoof. This came out on Southern Lord Records, like early to mid 2000s. I want to say 2004, 2006. I can't remember exactly. I'm not seeing a date on the back of this. So Goat Snake was kind of famous for being I think a fairly early band of Greg Anderson from Sun, and also one of the founders of Southern Lord Records. Yeah, I absolutely love Goat Snake. For this type of music, I mean, they are top notch, just absolute cream of the crop. Kind of like, I'd call them a doom band, but like a very bluesy doom band with a vocalist who is almost unrivaled in this genre. His name is Pete, I think Pete Stahl or something like that, and this motherfucker can sing. His vocals are just very bluesy, very soulful. He's got crazy range. He can hit all kinds of notes. Just a very talented singer, but the songwriting is awesome as well. I don't usually listen to this kind of stuff, but I just absolutely love Goatsnake. So I mean, if you are a fan, if you like Black Sabbath, give Goatsnake a shot. If you like old, maybe Southern rock, there's a Black Oak, Arkansas cover on here. If you like Saint Vitus, you need to look into Goatsnake, definitely. If you like Pentagram, all that early classic doom. Cool thing about Goatsnake is they don't sound exactly like any of those bands. If you like Sleep, High on Fire, I don't know. I think Goatsnake are absolutely amazing. I've always wanted this CD, so I'm glad to finally have it. And last but not least, out of the new stuff, my good buddy Dave, who he sent me what's the name of that band? I know he sent me a really cool record last year. I'm terrible with band names, but it was fucking amazing. Sorry, Dave. I love you. So he sent me this. I'd heard this before. This band and the album is fantastic. We got Nergal, black metal out of Greece in the mid-90s. This is from, actually, The Wizard of Nirath. This is the Nightbirds version. It's on a dub tape there. Very common for this label. This probably came from a... Nightbirds is a label out of, I think, Russia or Ukraine or something like that. And so the J cards were probably sent to somebody in the U.S. who, in turn, dubbed the tape. And so, yeah, what can I say about Nergal? Not a ton, to be honest. This is the only album of theirs that I've heard numerous times. I've heard some of their other stuff here and there. This is kind of their crowning achievement. This is, I believe this is their first full length. Don't correct me on that, or you can correct me on that, actually. Yeah, I don't remember when it came out. Maybe 96, 98, I don't know. Classic Hellenic, black metal. These guys, they never had the success of Varathron, Rotting Christ, Necromantia, stuff like that. So I guess you could say, as a fan, you could call it maybe like second tier, Hellenic black metal, but not to sound insulting or anything. Okay, maybe it's not as good as the first album or two from those bands, but I mean, this is pretty goddamn good. It's actually been a long time since I've listened to it. I need to kind of reacquaint myself, but I've always actually really dug this. Like I said, maybe not as good as the first two Necromantia albums, but pretty goddamn good. And I want to say they've made a comeback recently, or I might be thinking of Order of the Ebon Hand, but I could have sworn Nergal had something out recent, and I need to look into that, and I need to get more stuff from this band. I am a big fan of that early Greek sound. So on top of that, we'll also do kind of a bonus here, just some other movies that I've been watching recently in addition to that Murder Party movie. So fun, weird fact about me is I had never seen Return of the Living Dead until recently. I had bought this maybe a couple of years ago and I just never got around to watching it, but I'm super glad that I did because I absolutely loved it. There's a reason why this is an all-time classic. There's a reason why, people love it to this day. I got this cool version, by the way. It's not any kind of special version. It's just every year around Halloween, some of these bigger, like 20th Century Fox and shit, some of these bigger companies will they'll re-release horror movies with like different covers and stuff. That's all it is. But it's, they did a bang-up job. So Return of the Living Dead, written and directed by Dan O'Bannon, the guy who fucking, he worked on Alien. Dan O'Bannon, fucking awesome. Dark Star, he did Dark Star with John Carpenter. He's done a bunch of really cool stuff. So when I see the name Dan O'Bannon, I jump for it, and you should too. 1984 zombie movie. It's this This is kind of like a zombie movie of its own. It's you know it the rules are entirely different. The zombies are different. It's great. So it also came with this kind of alternate cover. I guess not so much an alternate cover as it is like it's just like a cardboard print. It's pretty cool. And yeah, absolutely love it. I'm glad I've finally got around to watching it. And I watched this movie that I picked up maybe a month or two ago. It's a David Cronenberg movie, which is obviously that's enough for me to go for it just based off the name. Spider, starring Rafe Fiennes, Miranda Richardson, Gabriel Byrne. I liked this movie. I certainly didn't love it. David Cronenberg's, he's not. The funny thing is this is not a horror movie at all. So I guess I was kind of intrigued on seeing Cronenberg do a non-horror movie. His cinematography here is great. It's a gorgeous looking movie. Ralph Fiennes is a fantastic actor. Everyone is pretty good in this movie. He definitely steals the show. I think this might have been 2003. I think this came out around the time that Red Dragon came out. I don't know if you remember Red Dragon, but Ralph Fiennes plays the villain in Red Dragon, and the character that he plays in this is it's pretty parallel to his character in Red Dragon, the Tooth Fairy. It's a very similar performance. He plays just a very disturbed individual. In this one, he's even more. He's more mentally handicapped in this movie, as to where, in Red Dragon he's got a career and a job and all that shit. Disturbed, but still, he's able to function in society. His character in this movie is not. He severely mentally handicapped. He can't live on his own. He lives in like a halfway house type thing. It's just about a dude who gets out of. This is probably I don't know what time period this is set in. I want to say I didn't see any cars. Like his father in this movie is a plumber and he rides around on a bike. So I don't know, maybe late 1800s. I'm not really sure. So anyways, he's in a one of those mental asylums that used to be common back then. He's in there the majority of his life. He gets released, and he has to go live in this halfway house. And it's just about his journey on trying to function in society for basically the first time in his life. And it's a pretty good movie. It's not great. It's definitely worth watching. I mean, like I said, the David Cronenberg's cinematography is great. Ralph Fiennes' acting is really, really good. The storyline at times I felt like could have been a little bit better, but fuck do I know? I don't make movies. I don't know. If anyone has seen this, let me know. Like I said, I didn't know Dave Cronenberg did any non-horror stuff, so it's cool for something different, I guess. But anyway, that's it. We've gone 23 minutes. I feel good about that. I'm gonna go take Louie for a walk. It's Saturday. We're off work, or I'm off work. Louie doesn't work. Talk to me about any of these things, and cheers. We will talk soon.